Another version of Sudoku that is simply the goddamn speech to text doing it wrong again. Let's go into this. I hate you. One thing that can be said about what the shit is this? Fucking alphanumeric with only a number pad. What in the actual fuck is this? You can't have alphanumeric with freaking A's and whatever, and then also say there where the hell are the numbers and the letters? You can't do this. What the fuck is all this shit? There's okay, literally you can't design a Sudoku like this because it doesn't have the other characters. Meanwhile, let's start penciling in some bitch and then call it a day. Um, wow, that's not a 9 because of inbox. This is not a 9. This is not a 9. This is not. There's no 9 in this row. What the fuck is wrong with me? Oh my god. This is stupid. There's a freaking G. Are all G's placed? No. What the fuck is a G? How do I place a G? What? What the fuck is it? Smaller is better. I guess there's no difference. But also, fuck you. What the hell is a G? Oh my god. Like, am I gonna be able to figure out anything with this? This is ridiculous. Where did all the C's go? Where does the whatever go? Think about this row numbers, pencil, freaking ridiculous. How do I, oh my god, bro, there's a dot. You can scroll over. Shut up. It's so impossible to see those dots. If you're looking at like just the picture, you don't automatically think of scrolling. Whatever. Okay, so what the freaking G? Wait, what is? How do you, I can't I can't see that. What is what is a big G? It's not bigger. I don't I don't know what the difference is with this. This is so silly. Okay, so not a G. Holy frick. Um, let's look at the number 1. When considering 1 in this box, it cannot be here or there. So it has to be somewhere in here. So a 1 could be here. Oh my god, that is tiny ass. Is it bigger? The the candidates don't get bigger, obviously. So that's weird and annoying and gross. Okay. Oh my god. It's gonna hurt my eyes. Fuck. You son of a bitch. I just have my fingers just do that whole separate their fingers thing, and then you can figure out, um, like you can analyze an individual block and be like, okay, well that's the number that's in that position, whatever. So let's say 4 can go here, I guess, and like it's so different. It's so weird. Oh my God. And there's no auto candidate. I hate that sort of with this. There's so much. Like, what do I think of? 9? 9 is already down here. 9 needs to be in this box. No? This one? Yes. Okay, so of all of those, there is only a 9 here. We found a number. Guys, we found a number in this. It took us 4 minutes. Let's go. Considering all other positions that 9 needs to be, there is no other 9. Why is the number 9 still lit? Oh, there is one more 9. Mostly 9. Wait, is that really it? That is the only other 9. We have solved 9. Let's go. Holy shit. I'm gonna puke. Let's consider the letter C, I guess. Um, a lot of potential C's, but I only see these 2 places where C can go. That's where C is. Yep, that that's definitely a what what huh? Okay, whatever. Um, what about is there a busy row? This is insane. I've never seen one of these, and also it uses letters, which is so whatever and stuff. How did we solve 9 already? That's the crazy part. Okay, that's an A. That's just straight up an A. Let's go. Um, what the hell? Well, when I can like one time in oh my God. One time in Dungeons and Dragons, they did a Sudoku, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna digitize the Sudoku. It's no longer in Roman numerals. I translated that shit, and we're like, yeah, it's all solved. Let's just move on, please. This is an A. It's the only A that doesn't have everything else blocking it. And then the other A has to be on the top over here or over here. Now, when considering A's, we don't know which A that is, so we'll pencil in A and A so we know where those could be. And we'll move on. Let's consider B for a second here. Um, yeah, it's crazy how you can just jump up to another dimension. That's fun. I've never thought about this. Okay, so when B is considered, there are some boxes that are easier than others. This one has 2 positions also where it could be. And then when considering B again, we have just way too many positions where B could go, so let's look at something else. 5 is hardly understood, but that gives it 3 spaces, so that's not bad. Let's consider C. C is extremely sparse. Um, There's a lot in the middle, top and bottom, and this one. So, wait, that forces C here. Oh, the A forces the C there. That's cool. And then this is a C. For someone who's never done a 4x4 or whatever this nonsense is. 1616. This is fun. This is a different level of brain activity. Mostly 9. Considering 1. Well, we need a 1 in the bottom. So these are ones mostly. What? Can't change the correct number. I don't know if that's the best way to go about doing that. I really don't know about that one. But I guess it's okay. Maybe. I don't know. The other one did it too. Maybe I shouldn't have deleted it so easily. But I like Candidate, and I didn't have Candidate in the I literally uninstalled that shit. Mostly 9. If you consider C in this block, there are very few places C can go. There are like 3 spaces for that. So let's go back to C and pencil in the corners here. That's where that is. Then when also considering C elsewhere, we have top, like the top and bottom and stuff. Let's consider some other number, digit, or whatever. I don't know about G. How about F? How is F looking? F looks like it's here. That's fucking, it just is. That's cool. Yeah, once you get a correct number and you can't remove it, I think that's a bug, not a feature that I would want, you know? I don't know about that one, A skip. Um, there are C's here and here, I think. Yep. So these corners are C's, which, if I think of other C's, this one has to have its C's here and there. I have never done one of these. Let's consider this block specifically. So the number 4, let's look at one of the numbers. 4, we have only 2 spaces where 4 can be. So that's good to know. And then we have to think of the other 4s that are needed for other boxes or whatever, or something. Find something. I don't care what. We have found random numbers that are not random. Oh my god, I am not doing any binary in this shit. I'll tell you that much. What about 7? 7 is sparse, but how sparse? Well, if I were to consider where a 7 could be on the bottom row of the second from the top, how do you put it? There are less possibilities. And then here, there's only 2 7s in here, for example. So that's nice. And then, can 7 go here and there? Yeah, it's a bunch of 7s. I would candidate the whole damn thing if I had my wits about me. And I don't. 8. Um, 8 looks sparse. And again, we see there are 2 positions where 8 can go on the bottom here. And then after that, no other indicators. to really help. But this is an 8, so that's cool. Then if I consider other 8s, 8, then we have to put it in here and there. No other verticals, columns, and whatever. So what about this block specifically? For some random reason, let's just think about that. Could it be G? Well, we can't have a G in here, so that's one thing. I guess it could be a G. But also, where else can G go? Well, it can't be in the other places, so that's actually a G. Wow! What the heck are the odds of that? We found a G. That's cool. And then this is another G. I think. Let me just confirm. No, it's definitely not. Okay, definitely not. Definitely not. So G would be on the bottom, and then you have to have the other G here because it doesn't get blocked by other things. That is a G. Um, which is fun. This is just silly. It feels silly. Oh, what is this? So we have like there's no H. Shut up. Um, so then we have 5 in this row. And it's not 5. 5, for example, cannot be in 2, 1. It can't be here or there. So it could be here or here. It could be here, actually. Yeah. Holy crap. What are the odds of me finding a 5 anyway? Well, it's just anywhere in this block could be a 5. Except for, so there's only three options for 5. Not there, there. And then if I think of 5 in other boxes, it's less obvious. So I'm not going to look there yet. Until I want to. Let's consider 1 for some reason. 1 has very little indicators. But that also means something. 1 is all in the middle in here, so that's one thing. God, imagine if you have all of the numbers, just everything filled in, how just nutty it would be. Imagine trying to make one of these. I think making one of them is not as hard as you think. If G has to be... Oh, wait. Is that a G? No, that's a C. Okay, so a G can't be here, for example, because of the vertical. And so that means if it can't be there, it must be here. Because there are no other places for it in the row. So that's a G. We don't know where these two G's are, but we'll just pencil those in as G's. Are you coding DNA? No, I'm doing a Cedoku. I see what you did there. C. Anyway. How about E again? Why again? I don't know. Okay, if E has to be somewhere in the block and it's blocked by most places, that's actually an E. That's fun. That's just a randomly found E. Similarly, that's an E. Oh God. How it do? Okay, so if you consider where E can be, it could be in here, and then it would be this one, and then it has to be on the top. It has to not be these ones, so it has to be the top, like there specifically. E is done. We have solved E and 9. Let's go. Um, that's one less thing to think about. F is considered extremely innocuous, and I cannot begin F just yet. Hold on. No, I can't consider F. Too few potentials. Okay, so we have A here and here, and if I really consider it, A only has those few places, but we need an A in this block as well. And A isn't... Okay, so we'll place A's... What? I'm not changing that. I'm typing it here. Oh, I already placed A there. What? Okay, cool. What about the other A's? Look again, and we have this block, for example, has an A need... Well, okay, hold on. I could put an A here, there, and there. And then for this one, I could put it here, since well, I could put it here also, I guess. Then I have to consider the last box on the bottom, or there's a box here, which also needs an A. What else do we have? We have those two, and then on this side we have here. Is that the only one there? Considering, yeah, that seems limiting. So I would say it would be, uh, can an A be there? I guess it can. What about other A's? Is there any other A in the third row of here? No, 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 no. Okay, so this is an A. There you go. Dum, 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 dum. So we have an A quad in the corner over there, and we have an A quad in the middle right. So whatever you want to think about that. Let's look at E. E is not solved, is it? It's solved. Never mind. Shut up. Call me in the morning. 5 was thought about momentarily. It's very vague. if I were to consider a 5 here, right? And the other 5 on the other edge. There's nothing stopping it from being here where this C is, as far as I know. And then, but we need a oh, this block is extremely full, so it only has a space for a 5 in 2 spaces. So that's something. Here and here. Ah, very good. Or it feels good anyway. There's so much to look through. How about the number 2? Well, 2 can only be here, for example. That just is a 2. There we go. And then if I consider these ones, less information. This one has second top. Okay, so this second layer here needs it there, and then there's there, and here, and there. And then, I don't know. The rest is just weird. So it's like, I can't figure that out quite yet. But if I were to consider 2 in this block, well, it can't be anywhere on the bottom of that block. So 2 could be on the top of that block. So I'll pencil that in. And it also could be in these spaces, I guess. Yeah. So that's neat. And if I were to consider here in this vertical, well, it can't be in that because there's also, oh, well then there's, and can it be in here? The 2, yeah, there's only 2 spaces in the vertical. It can be here and there, I think. Yeah, and then I have to think about the next vertical, which it's blocked, so it's blocked there. This other box has a 2 possible here, and there, and there. Why don't I do the whole thing? It would be a lot easier if I just do all the numbers in all the boxes, because that genuinely helps. Like, for example, 1 and already 1. Oh, we already have ones. Never mind. Forget I asked. Like, I'm just getting random insights. It feels like that's well, that's a D. That's just a straight up D. Whoops. Let's go over here. Grab a D. Shove it in there. Shove the D in that box. And it fits. I mean, it just belongs there. Oh, I hate myself sometimes. Oh, but it's true. I mean, then this is a D over here also. Yeah. And then if I consider all the places a D could be in this box, there are 2 places here and there. Okay, cool. But we did find some places where D's can fit. Sure. How about A? I haven't looked at A in a wow, that wait, no, did I look at A? I did look at A. Okay, let's look at B for some reason. Have I looked at B? Okay, so blah blah blah. All of this is covered, so this is a B. So that's cool. And then we have blah 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 covered, 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 covered. So that's a B. No, it just flat out is a B. Yay. How long do you think it'll take me to solve this entire puzzle? Son of a bitch. No, there's no B down here. So the B is up and one of these. So there you go. Where's the other B? It is in these bottom ones. I already know that. Okay. Well, yeah. And then if I were to consider where B can be in here, it's those ones. And if I were to consider a B for this vertical, it can only be here. So that's a B. So that's cool. Where's the last B? Here. Cool. Um, Making great progress. Or B-grass? Ah! How about egress? Yeah! E is already done, actually. So we don't have to think about that anymore. Right. I need my B-grass to be like egress. Thinking about G for a second. If G can't be on the side... Oh, it already is. Never mind. Blah, 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 blah. G middle. Um, so let's go over there. We're already over there. That's the G. That's another G. Possible. Like G and G. That's it, except for now we have just this G. And is there another G possible here? Yep. But then the question is the G possible on the top there as well? And I don't see why not. Why didn't I label it? I don't know. So we have that. Interesting little quad set with a side 2, and that's it. So that's fine. We'll figure it out later. How about C? How does C look? C almost... C is practically done. What the hell? C is like, there's only 2 C's there, and then there's a C in those ones, but then we don't know which one it is. And then I didn't do this block, so let's see about that. Come see about that. See about that, baby. Come see about that. No, can't work that song into it. Okay, so I've considered all other C's. Yay. Back to the D. Nothing nasty now. D in, well, it's literally here. That's where that D is. So that's good to know. And then the other D, if I were to consider it, can only be here. Oh, for fuck's sakes. What do you mean? Oh, weird. Okay, so this is the D. Oh, I hate negative feedback so much. I hate it so much. So we know that the other D is up here, and it's one of these. So we'll pencil it in here and there. We're getting a little messy. making mistakes. I hate no, it's the first mistake, so that's whatever. But still. Okay, if I consider this D, we have those two Ds and those two Ds. That makes sense. Okay, so then we go to E again. It's already done. Great. How is F looking? Okay, that row is already done. Nice. Then we have F in there, and we have nothing in the bottom. And then we have the stuff up top, which is, if I were to consider it, F has to be on the top level of, it only has two places, like there's an F here or there. And then if I consider other places, it's like, it, there's one on the side. Like if I think about this block, for example, it's here, there, and there. And then if I think about the last block, it's here. Right? And here. But because that doesn't overlap with other Fs, and then we have these ones in this box. So that corresponds with those ones, and then I look at the bottom, and I'm like, okay, it could be these places. And then if I think about the vertical, there's no other place for the F to be in the vertical but in this box. So this is not an F. Shut the fuck up. It's not an F. I don't care about mistakes. It's a mistype. It's not a mistake. Okay, so if I consider that 4 and F and 5, what is the last number in this box? So what else could be here? Right? Getting close to finishing a box, which is pretty hype. So we think of, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. How's 4 looking? Well, 4 can't, well, let's just say, 4 is only in the side. Okay, so we've solved that. So then the other 4 in this, like in this box, what's the last? One, two, three, four, 5, 6, which is, okay, we don't know where 6 is. So let's find out 6 for this box. We don't know. Not in the column. So this is a, well, that's interesting. It's a 5, 6 pair. Nice. That's actually really clean. Because also, if I think about it, 4 and F, and we already have 4 and F, so that means of the vertical, we have that as a 2. There you go. Nice. Which means this is a 2. Good. It's already been a 2. Well, fuck the tree. Fuck the tree. Other 2s are innocuous. So we'll leave that for a minute. Or whatever. I don't know. There's so many goddamn tiny things. I can't quite put my head in that mental space. Let's go back to 6. Well, if I think of 6, I think the verticals only on this one, the fourth or the third. And then of the 2 in the third, there's this one. So that's a 6. Cool. And then there is the bottom here, which could be a 6. Pencil that in. And this is already a 6. So it could be in this section? Yeah, that section. What about other 6s? On this side, at least. I mean, there are a few of them. It'd be kind of nice if I could keep on looking at 6 while also typing in other things. Or whatever. You know what I mean? How does 4 look? Well, okay, that's interesting. Of all of the 4s in this section, the top ones are taken, then this one, and then these ones, so that leaves this one. So that's a 4. Cool. And then every 4 is taken except for these 2, so we'll pencil those in. And then looking at other 4s, we need a 4 in the bottom. And we need a lot of 4s on the top. And there has to be a 4 somewhere. Like this set there's only 2 of them, so I could consider the 4 to be here and the other 4. Well, literally there's nowhere else it can go, right? Can it go here? Yes. No, it can't. This is a 4 then. There you go. Then if I consider everywhere that a 4 can be in the rows, columns, I think of this 4. Cool. And if I think of all of these, there are 2 4s in the top. And then here there are only, wait, hold on. Yeah, we have like 3 spaces here, technically, right? Yeah. And then already considered for elsewhere. Wait, if literally there's nowhere else a 4 could be in this box, that's a 4. Nice. And then we have these 4s that are on the bottom here. Not that one, this one. I think, right? Yeah. That settles it. There's no other place a 4 can be in this row, so that means that is a 4. Nice. And this is the last thing, so it will be just an F. We have done an entire row, column, whatever. Cool. All right, so now we consider it could be a 7. Let's place a 7 there. And then 7, 7. And then if I think of other 7s for a second, there's extremely no information about 7. However, I'm just looking at this row. So specifically whatever is in those last 3 digits. So it's a lot to look into. There's a 5, which can't be here. 5 could be in the last two. So I'll pencil that 5 and that 5. And then the last digit that this one needs is not a digit? Is it not a digit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but we already have 5s. 6. Oh, yeah, it's 6. So then, where are the 6s over there? Oh, there are no 6s over there. So pencil in 6s, I guess. Cool. That's not super helpful. What about this block? And this row? Or what are these? It's either 5 and 6, right? So what about anywhere else a 5 and a 6 can go? Well, if I think about vertical 5 and 6, there is the block above it and the top block, which there's a lot of possibility that I don't want to get into. However, if I think about the vertical and the horizontal of this block, 5 becomes obvious. And that's nice. Which means I could probably look at the bottom block and the bottom row of these blocks and say that it could only be here and there. And that's it. So that's nice little pencil work. So what about that middle number? Or whatever it is. It's like 1, 2, 3. Okay, what about 3? Let's focus free for a second here. 3 could be in any of these spaces except for this one. So yeah, we'll just pencil those 3s in. So then what can go in this space? Interesting. What about 7? Yep, 7 is also possible in many spaces. But not the same spaces. Ah, limiting. Okay, what's the last digit we need for that row? But first, before I do that, I need to start eating some of my pie and whipped cream because it will go bad. And I feel like having a break. That was tasty. I have apple pie and whipped cream. Okay, so the last digit. It's interesting that only 7 can fit in there so far. That is good information. But what is the last digit? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 6? Is it 6 that we need in this row? Okay, what about 6? Well, every position could be a 6. That's beautiful. We'll just... Wait, did I already put 6s in here? No? Okay, cool. So now it's a binary with the 6 and 6, and the other one's 5. But if I were to think about it, only 3 is in the other places. Something, something, something. It's most likely be a 3-5 pair and a 6-7 pair, but we don't know which one. So that's great. Good to be aware of what we don't know. But that leaves a lot of not possibilities for the other digits of this box. So what else can fit in the box? Do we have an A? Let's randomly scan the letter A. Okay, so we got 2 A's, and then we considered a 2 on the top, and 2. What about the rest of this column, or this row? Just the row. The row only has 4 digits missing. The column has 5, 6. Never mind. So what else could go in this? Oh, for frick's sakes, my power is running out. Well, I'd have to pause somehow. I think I can just leave and come back, so that's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. This has been very fun, but I don't want to keep running. I have to charge my phone. So I will see you in the next video where we will finish this. I'm pretty sure we could just, yeah, we could just continue. So that's awesome. Freaking, you gotta subscribe, and then you gotta go check out the playlist for the next video of more Cedoku stuff that is happening in this game specifically. Toodles.